Oh, hi everyone, how are you today? It's Jane Mason here from Virtuous Bread, and I'm not long out of bed, I confess, because it's the shortest day of the year, and it's dark, right? So I just slept in. And what I'm going to be doing with you today is, no, come on in. It's my dad coming into the kitchen. Here he is. Wave. Hello.
Wave.
I am going to be rolling and stuffing and shaping a very beautiful Christmas Kringle. And the recipe is either in my first book, which is called All You Need Is Bread, which has been re-released as Making Bread at Home, which is a fantastic book of wonderful kinds of bread from around the world. Or it's on the Bread Angels website, which is www.breadangels.com, and it's in the free recipe section, and it's called Christmas Kringle. This is a bread that is originally from Estonia, and it's a very beautiful, soft, kind of chewy dough with stuffing. In this case, I'm using homemade marzipan, but you can use anything. I also sometimes use a kind of prune and raisin and walnut stuffing. Or if you wanted to, you could use a simple sort of cinnamon stuffing, cinnamon and sugar stuffing. That would be good too. But the basic thing about it is it's really very lovely, and it is not that difficult to shape, although there is a knack to it. So I'm just going to be doing that while I'm on the video. I'm going to turn my camera down. I have everything I need. I have my dough. I have some dough scrapers. I have flour, very important for this. I have some egg wash, which not only will I use for glaze, but I'll also use as kind of glue to stick things together, which I'll show you in a second. And the last thing I need is my rolling pin. So let's get going. For this bread, you need flour on your board. And the reason is you really, really don't want any of these pieces to stick to the counter as you're rolling. Okay, and keep your flour handy because you may need more. Here is my dough, lovely. Okay, it's nice, beautifully risen, smells amazing. I'm going to get it out of the bowl. Okay, now this dough was actually rising in the fridge overnight, which you can do if you want to. You can definitely proof it in the fridge overnight. Makes it a little bit easier to handle because it's cold. Or you can just, rise it as normal. It takes a good 2 to 3 hours to rise. Now, if you're not in the fridge, what you're going to do is you want to weigh your dough because you need to divide it into 3 equal pieces. Let me get it into grams. There we go. So that's about 1,000, okay? So that will be 369, 330, I still need my scale, silly me. It'll be about 330 grams, okay, each piece. So I'm gonna weigh those out, 271, 315. There we go, that's about right. So, okay, and I'm gonna get rid of this one. Right, it smells delicious. It has grated lemon rind in it. 367, that's a bit much. Let's weigh this. 381, no, that should be fine. Maybe half a bit off of this. There we go. Okay, so we have our 3 dough balls. Well, I'm gonna just clean off my scraper. And remember that dough sticks to dough, okay? So if your hands are remotely sticky, your dough's gonna stick to you. So at this point, I'm actually going to really clean this scraper off well and get rid of all that excess goo, okay? I'm also gonna give my hands a quick rinse so that the dough doesn't stick to me, which would be very frustrating. Okay. So with each of these 3 pieces of dough, the first thing you wanna do is shape them into a loose ball. Okay, there's nothing that you just want to make sure you have a nice smooth surface. So you see the difference between that and that. Okay, so that's the just cut piece. And the reason is because you're going to roll it. So you want there to be a nice smooth and somewhat dry surface when you're rolling. So this is not a technical thing to do. Just literally fold, if you're working with warm dough, this will be very easy. Just fold the dough up like that. And then you've got a slightly floury, nice round surface. Okay, I'll do that for you again with this last piece. And again, if you're working with warm dough, you'll really be able to stretch it. And when you're working with, see, that's even a little bit more stretchy now. When you're working with warm dough, the thing to do, because the dough is soft, it's just try, don't break the dough. Try not to break the dough. If you break it, it's not the end of the world. But, just be gentle with this dough. Assertive, but gentle. Okay, so there are my 3 pieces. Now, I'm going to start with this piece here, and I want to roll it in a long strip that I'm going to lay out over here. So I need some elbow room. Move some things out of the way. And I'm going to put a little bit more flour on my rolling pin, and I'll just get some flour here. So there's a knack to this, and again, if you're working with cold dough, it's a little bit easier, but you want to roll it out, and you need it to be no more than 10 centimeters wide. Okay, so you're going to roll, and it'll fight you. The gluten will continue to bounce back at you, but roll it, and you can flip it over and keep patting it into that sort of 10 centimeter width, and you're going to roll it till it's about half a centimeter. Okay, so I'll speed up now that I've shown you how it works. Okay. And you can use gravity. Okay, so you can literally drop it off the end of the counter and gently stretch it out. You can also just hold it up in the air like this, support it, especially if it's warm, because again, it's fragile, okay? So you can support it with one hand and gently tug it out. So whatever method works best for you, it just requires some patience to do it, because the gluten will keep making it shrink back. Get those things out of the way, okay? So I'm just gonna keep doing this. And as I said, you can be assertive with it. Just please don't let it stick to your counter, because that will be a real drag when it comes to shaping it. So if there's any danger at all, just put a little bit more flour down, okay? Or you can even flour the bread. Okay. So this I'm gonna do with all of them. And this does take a while, so this is a bit of the boring part of the show. So what I might do is sign off now, because I'm going to do this with all 3 of them. So I'll sign off. I'll do this with all 3 of them, and then I'll come back for part 2. Okay.